We're going to start by using a short 10-0 liner, 20-0, whichever kind you prefer, and we're going to thin warm white, and we're going to outline the pieces. Now only the top piece can get completely outlined. So we will go through and outline all of the pieces. Make sure that you thin your paint enough so that it's, whoops, sorry about that, so that it's able to flow. So we'll go ahead, follow our photo, and outline our pieces, and then we'll also add the little curls and things that are on there. You'll transfer them on with white transfer. I'm going to start with my 1/8 deerfoot and my mix of plantation pine and bittersweet. We're going to stipple the background greenery. I'm going to put some little flower pots in after, and they'll have this same greenery in them. So we put that greenery on. And we're going to stipple this wherever we've got a wreath or any greenery. Same colors. So once I wipe my brush, pick up lush green. Dirty brush, I just give it a wipe. And I just come through and loosely, uneven, so you have a little off the edge. We want to still see the other color through. So I don't press as hard. I pounce it hard on the palette to splay open my bristles. Give my brush again a wipe on my toweling, and I'm going to pick up some celery. Pounce it open as well, and then just come in and more or less, do you see I just touch? I'm adding that brighter green, pop a bit more on the brush. I don't want to press. I just want to keep some light highlight greenery here. Until I like what I've got. I'll dry that, and then I'm going to pop in my berries with my stylus Black Plum and Crimson Red. All right, so we're going to shade with sand gray. When we shade with sand gray on the white, it's going to not really show up too much until it dries. It's kind of one of those colors. There is a contrast, there is a difference. We just want a soft shade, And this is what I'm calling the back of the roof, even though like it's leaning backwards. There it is. It makes you think it's the top, but this is going to be the front top of our roof. So you're going to shade there. And then we want to shade on our chimney as well. So where we can shade right over on this edge. Then I would shade right there right by my line where the chimney bends. And I should let it dry before I do this, but I'm going to go over here anyways and shade right there. So those places, as you can see, this is starting to darken up as it's drying. And so you're going to go ahead and you're going to do that on all of the roofs and all of the chimneys. Okay, so sand gray, and we're going to float that on all of them. They're all going to be the very same. We are taking and we're thinning down warm white with our liner, and we are going to outline our little cookie shingles. If you haven't transferred them on, they're not too tough to wing. Some of us are only working on a few of the houses, so you may not even have this one. So I did the ones at the top first, so they'd be dry, so that I could show part 2 to this demo. Okay, so we are now going to come and go underneath and outline. So you see that I'm coming the under part of each of our shingles. So underneath that white line, that's going to create depth. It's going to make it look like these are dimensional. Now, I'm not going to carry on down here because those are still wet. But what I do want you to see is that you can really see the difference where the ones that are outlined and the ones that aren't. So it makes a difference. It's going to give us a little dimension there. So that there's only one house that has these on them. So that's what we're going to do. All right? That's our next mission. We're going to start by shading our chocolate balls and our flower pots. So I'll zoom that in a little bit. We're going to shade them. So we would want to come in behind and shade to separate and to give the appearance of roundness to the chocolate balls. Snow is going to come up under there, so I'm not concerned. So that's the chocolate balls. And then I'm going to move over to the flower pots. So I want to shade my outer edges of my flower pots in the bittersweet. So what I've done to be able to carry on with the video is there we go. There we go. All right, I went ahead and I did these ones ahead. So I'm going to take almondine on a dry brush. This way I don't have to go back and dry it beforehand. I'm going to use the almondine and we're going to dry brush in the middle of these. Now I'm going to kind of move a little bit along with this to show you the whole thing. I'm going to take warm white, and one of them I'll do the stripes on this one. We want to put the icing stripes on with a curve. So they look like they're iced. And you can use the end of a stylus, or I'm going to use the end of my handle. and I'm going to dot this one. So I have one striped, one dotted. Let's put a dot in there and a little bit of a dot there. Okay, so we are going to come back after. I'm not going to go on the dotted one, but I'm going to use my 1/8 lunar blender, and I would do it on the dotted one, but it's not going to be dry enough because they stay raised. But we're just going to do a little dry brush. I'll do a little swipe there, and then with my liner, and that's not my liner, there it is. Are they back in the scene? No, there they are. I'm going to take the liner and I'm going to add a little swipe highlight and a couple of scratch highlights down the candy sticks at the door. So that's going to be in your notes, but it may be further along, but that's what we're doing to our flower pots and our candy sticks and our candy bars.
Is that all done with the oil?
I'm going to show you how I have these stencils. I did trace them onto the pattern so you can transfer them and paint them, but I have some little stencils that I chose different little sections off of it to be my gingerbread. And then I'm going to move down. We like all that hoopla palette, not to worry. All right, so now I'm going to take warm white, and these stencils are really cool because these are press and stick, so they stay in place. They're perfect for on glass. These are actually Martha Stewart stencils. So I come along here, and then I added, you'll see on the thing, I took my stylus and I added little dots here and there just to jazz it up a bit. I've got commas on some of the houses I put on. There are pieces that, yeah, like there are pieces I could put, you know, this part, not the top of it. I would cover the top, stencil that. So there's all kinds of little doodaddies that you can put on them. We'll go through and we'll put on whatever you'd like. But I want to show you a couple of things. That is the stenciling on there. And then I really want to show you, excuse me here, I don't have any fresh paint out. The outlining. Now I already have this in another video, but I'm going to use my liner and outline the icing, okay? The icing is along the edges of our cookie trees. And then we also have, there's going to be snow stippled in later. So I've done all different patterns on them. I've done like this one that has these curls and then polka dots with the stylus in between. I did all those and then realized they look like sixes.
Yeah, I would have done them upside down. Do nines.
Yeah, I was going to say then they'd be nines, so it's not going to be any.
I can't win.
It'll be worth more as nines. So I would go all the way through and do these. So that is how we're going to go ahead and decorate our trees. You can put any pattern on there that you'd like. There's a lot of dots. We did a lot of, this is going to get an outlining with the icing on it. We're going to be adding snow on a couple of our roofs, or window tops. So I'm just looking over to see which windows it is. It's the window that has the square. It's this one's. Nope, it isn't those, but it is now.
It's this one here.
This is weird. I think I put the awning on the wrong house. Because the awning, it's over a round one, but this one has shutters, and I don't have shutters on there. Oh, who knows?
It'll be with houses.
Yeah, so, but they may not match your pattern,
Whatever.
but that's okay. So we go through, we're going to add our icing, which is snow dripping on them. You're going to add your patterns to your door. The one door has the kind of grids. So I just did rectangles and then put the dots with the stylus in there. So the same thing down below. And then we will as you heard, Pete said she's found it easier to do her dots first. But anyways, so whichever you would like to do. Alrighty, thank you. I'm going to shade the cat and dog. They are shaded with burnt umber. And then they're going to be outlined and iced with the white, like everything else. So I'm shading all the way around. You can use your 1/8 if you want. I'm using a number 4, but a smaller is okay. Some people are intimidated with small pieces that they have to shade. So we shade from the back and work our way up. So we're inside the piece, right? And he's going to have snow along the bottom. And then he's got that little tail on the back. Everything will pop up when we put on the lines. So, and we add his little collar. So I'm going to just swing this one around and try to get... Okay, so now it's the cat. Basically, they're the same. We shade along the bottom.
Check something, I don't know.
That's good. There we go. I wasn't looking. Okay, so we shade along the bottom of his ears and then around his little face. Same thing again with the feet. Separate his little feet, separate the leg from the body. He's so tiny.
Yeah.
But don't panic if you haven't got much shading on him. It's the icing that's going to bring him to life.
German Shepherd. German Shepherd.
All right, so I'm going to put a little bit on his tail, but when he's outlined, you're not even going to see it. Okay, I'm going to let him dry and then outline. Okay, so we're going to outline the icing, and this is what's going to make all the difference on our little cats and dogs. He gets an outline around his tail. Down his chest. down his back, and then he's got some little icing wiggle marks. That one's got some water in it.
Thank you.
Some little wiggle marks. And I'll slide down the little dog. He's going to be the same thing. We're going to outline the icing on him. And the outline should be just a smidge in. Then he gets that wiggle on his paws. His tail's a little easier to outline than the kitty cat. And you get some dots with our stylus. We're going to do the collar and his heart. Both of them the same on cat and dog. So there's the little heart. And then the collar. So that's the crimson and the fairway green. So they're such pretty colors. Doesn't have to be those colors. They can be any colors. A nice red and bright green. All right. We're going to take sand gray and warm white, and I'm just double loading on my brush. And I'm going to chisel in around the ground area. So warm white, sand gray. Just, you don't want to cover your little doggy, and you don't want to cover your trees. You're just going to loosely come up between them. This way you're going to see some sand gray, you'll see through it, you'll see some of the warm white there. I can use my chisel of my brush and put snow on there, or you can use your round and put it on, whatever you'd like for that. So I've done the other end right now, and it's dry, so I'll pull that up here. So I think I will. I'm not getting good at this new camera thingy at all. Okay, so what we're doing now is I'm going to take, you can use a 1/4 inch or 1/8 deer foot. This is dry now, so I can come in here and tap in a little bit of fluffy snow. So I'll have a little fluffy snow under my cat, maybe another little clump there. So you see how this is just going to give us the look that we have a little dimension. Just here and there, a little bit of fluff, so it sticks snow up in front of things. Like, you don't want to have to see the bottom of your tree. So this way you get a little fluff here and there. So I'm going to go through and add that on the bottom of them, and then our last thing we're going to do is our shading. So we'll go through and we'll do this right now. We're going to shade nice and soft as a finishing up. You see how if I come along and I shade nice and soft behind my house, behind my trees, just keeping it a nice faint soft float of raw umber. It pushes the background back.
that enough paint there?
Yeah, you don't want very much. You want to have it nice and soft. We don't want to have a pile of paint on there. We want to come along very faint. Shade in behind our trees.
Oh, that's nice.
Where does she?
So you see how faint that is. I'll also come along and shade just real soft here and there. Not completely everywhere. Like, see, I can shade a little in behind my little puppy. Maybe a little underneath my candies, pardon me.
Just flushy.
Just a little here and there. So this little float in the snow, and if you feel like it's gotten too dirty, you can go back and tap a little bit of white back on top of it again. But this just sets everything in. I can, if you choose, it's up to you, if you want to come and you can shade to separate your two trees. So you would just be separating. It just softly shades over that icing a little bit to push it back. I can shade where that tree is next to the house at the roof. And shade. I don't think I'm in the camera any longer anyway. So just keep that nice and soft, nice and faint, and just float a little bit here and there. Our whole goal is not to have a bold, dark shadow, but you can see the difference from there to where it's not done at all here. It makes a really big difference. So that's what we're doing. This is a nice, soft float, raw umber, and it just sets everything back. Alrighty.